Here's a typical day of eating for me as a high raw vegan or raw till 4, whatever label you want to give it. I'm not a big fan of labels, but that's probably the closest thing to my current diet. And yeah, I'm currently training football twice a week for my team and resistance training 4 days a week. Now, I'm by no means trying to come across as like a guru or some like proper fitness expert, but for me personally, I can only speak about first-hand benefits. And for me, eating this diet and this way of living, this general lifestyle of a raw till 4 or a high raw diet, for me, is working the best that any diet has worked for me. I feel like I've got the most energy I've ever had. I feel like I recover the quickest I ever have. So like rarely get soreness where I used to be. Even like a standard vegan or an alkaline vegan, it's a great improvement for me. Still times where I overeat. There's still times where I don't get enough sleep. There's still times where I beat myself up. I'm not perfect, but I've come a hell of a long way. I was 135 pounds maybe 3 or 4 months ago, and now I'm sitting at about 150 pounds. And that's just lean muscle mass. It's not fat, or it's very minimal fat. I'm actually finally starting to get a bit of shape and progressing with my physique. So yeah, 135 pounds, now 150, and continuing to bulk at a rate of like roughly a pound per week. And that's mainly muscle, very minimal amounts of fat, especially eating these kind of clean food and on this lifestyle. I'll share all the calories and the macros and the chronometer screenshots for all you guys. Now, I would take it with a pinch of salt because it's not that accurate for fresh fruit and veg and things like that, especially with the nutrient content. That can vary so much depending on like the actual quality of the produce, but it's a good rough estimate of what I'm intaking. And also some days I'll go fully raw as well, and I do feel my best on it, but at the minute there's a few variables in my life that are kind of impacting my ability to stay fully raw and especially build muscle on a raw diet because I'm struggling to get enough calories in from good quality fruit. And also at the end of the video I'll show a few other days, so like high raw days, fully raw days, just typical days and what I eat, because it does vary from day to day. No 2 days are exactly the same, but I'm quite a similar personality type. I eat quite similar things.
I got the managerial job, and I didn't.
Just got in from football or soccer, training with my team. It was quite a hot one today. It was about 25 degrees Celsius, which when you're running around the pitch feels quite intense. But yeah, waving around these dates. I'm gonna put them in a smoothie and maybe some of these bananas. And yeah, hit my head in the chandelier. Yeah, we'll see what's popping. I'm pretty hungry, obviously. I don't know how many calories I burnt, but if I had to estimate, I'd say like at least 500, because we were doing like runs around the pitch and things like that, which burns a lot of calories. So I'm pretty hungry. Probably drunk about 1.5 litres of water, so 1.5 quarts, or I don't know what that is in gallons, but yeah. So I'll show you the smoothie. I wasn't going to show you this bit because I thought the kitchen's a bit messy and like everything's not all professional, but we're not going for the fully raw Christina vibes. if we want to make the lifestyle a bit more accessible, I think it's important we show just a bit of rawness and like, you know, a messy kitchen. I live with others and obviously I make a bit of mess myself, so you know, it doesn't have to be glamorous. This blender, it's got a crack in it, but it's still doing the job. So in here we've got 500 grams of medjool dates, and I also put 2 dessert spoonfuls, so I think that's equivalent to about 20 grams of flaxseed in here. So we're going to blend this on high for about 45 seconds, a minute, and then I'm going to pulse blend these bananas, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. As you can see, it's pretty full. I've added my 4 bananas. I forgot to say there was 1.3 litres of water in here, about roughly. So it's pretty full today. And yeah, I'll just show you how to pulse blend. So you just want to go on and off if you don't have like a setting. I don't know many blenders that would have that kind of setting, but it basically just doesn't create like a vortex, and it reduces like the oxidation. Now what I'm gonna have to do is just push the bananas down because I put them in at the top. But yeah, that's the basic premise. And yeah, I'm just gonna poke it down a bit more and then it should be done. You might be thinking it's a bit too much effort, like the extra 30 seconds to a minute, but it's well worth it for the taste. And if you look at it, it hasn't got like the frothy, bubbly oxygen bubbles, or not. My dog just started barking and interrupted, but yeah, it tastes much better, no bubbles, and yeah, well worth it in my opinion. I'll probably pour this bad boy into a couple of mason jars, put one in the fridge, and then drink the other one, and then maybe wait like half an hour, and yeah, should leave me pretty satiated. Just a quick tip with the smoothies as well, remember to like chew them, because there's no way I'd be eating that amount of food in like 5 minutes flat. So just have a little sip and then, done it again, and then just, you know, chew it like you normally would, and you'll find it digests nicely. Finished the smoothie over the course of about an hour, and just I want to make a quick point. It's an important distinction to make. So after you eat, you should be, because it's high volume food, you should be pretty full. So like, as you can see, that's me fully relaxed, and this is just me kind of like normal, and then obviously I can still tense, but I'm not bloated. It's quite important because a lot of people confuse like being full for being bloated, but if you're bloated, it's going to be quite like round and protruding, and like it's just going to feel awful. But I've still got a lot of energy after eating that, and yeah, it'll digest perfectly. And yeah, beautiful day outside. Blessed to have such a lovely garden, and yeah, grateful as always. Here's just some footage of me depodding some of my mum's homegrown peas, and struggling because I'm doing it one-handed. And yeah, I just found that quite satisfying whilst grounding on the earth, and yeah, drinking that little snack or smoothie. Fleabag. And then I just blended up the boiled peas from the garden, made a little dip with some lemon juice and a pinch of Himalayan salt, and then that's freshly picked lettuce and spinach from the garden. Mwah. That's my last meal done for the day. It took me about half an hour to finish, to chew my way through. But yeah, I think green's quite important for the minerals if we don't really have access to like tropical fruits, because it's something I kind of like didn't really eat that much at the start of the lifestyle. But now I've realised, especially with like the fact that I eat quite a lot of conventional fruit, it's probably good to have some greens. And yeah, I'm fortunate that my mum's planted some peas, some lettuce, spinach, Swiss chard, loads of things like that. So might as well take advantage of it, get a bit of B12 hopefully, and a lot more minerals than a lot of the supermarket greens and veg. For breakfast, I had, I think it was about 3 kilos the watermelon. So I just input 1,800 grams of actual flesh, which equates to roughly 500 calories. It's hard, it's really hard to estimate the calories in watermelon because it varies so much depending on like the ripeness and the sweetness and a load of different factors like that. But I think 500 calories is probably a safe estimate for the melon. Then obviously the lunch was pretty big because I was starving after football training, which lasted about an hour and a half and was quite cardio intensive, so hence why I ate so much. I would never usually have this amount, but I'd still probably have like 500 grams of dates just on their own, but I felt like I needed the extra bananas on this particular day. So that's 1,850 calories there. I'll show the overall macros in a minute. And then for dinner, I wouldn't always have peas, but because they were fresh and from the garden, I just really fancied them on that particular day. So other than the peas, it was a fully raw day for me, really. But I just boiled them and then blended that up with some spinach. And I also had some spinach in the salad as well. So yeah, that's the dinner, which I had about 5:30, 6 p.m. Not too late. And then in terms of snacks, this was just the banana and mango smoothie, and it was just 300 grams of frozen mango and obviously 3 medium bananas, as you saw in the video. But if I go to daily report, you can see here it's roughly 3,300 calories. That could vary by probably a good few hundred, depending on like the actual quality of fruit. But it's probably at least 3,000 calories if I had to estimate. But obviously, take it with a pinch of salt, as I said. And then I'll just scroll down. You can see the macros. So as you can see, things like the B vitamins are all getting hit. Obviously, B12, very hard to estimate on chronometer. There might not be any in like conventional produce, just from what I've researched and speaking to guests. So I do supplement B12. I have started. It's fine. We're not going to let her ruin the video. So yeah, I do supplement B12 just because, as I said, from research and interviewing guests, it does seem to be lacking in our modern world. So the past couple months, I've been taking methylcobalamin. That's the only kind of bioavailable form of B12, and I'm not sure if it's made any real difference, but I'm just doing it to be safe. Just from, as I've said, interviewing guests and research, I think there's no real harm in it, and I'm not as dogmatic as I used to be. And yeah, obviously, you've got vitamin D from the sun, vitamin E. I don't worry too much about that, just because some days I have more spinach, other days I have other foods which are high in vitamin E, so I'm not too worried about that. Calcium. See, I don't really know how accurate these estimates are for the levels of calcium, but at least the foods I eat don't leach calcium from my bones. And without vitamin D, the body can't properly utilize calcium anyway, so my bones feel pretty strong and healthy to me. Selenium, sodium. I don't worry too much about selenium. My hair and nails grow pretty well. Um, and obviously that came from the bananas, watermelon. Okay, so that's the ratios there if you're interested. And sodium, I do occasionally add like a pinch of pink Himalayan salt. I've been looking into Celtic or Celtic, but I call it Celtic sea salt, which I do think sodium could potentially be problematic if you're not like drinking coconut water or foods that are high in sodium. So occasionally, if I feel the need, I just have a little pinch of salt. Obviously, that's different from table salt, which is just pure sodium chloride, and it doesn't come with the other like accompanying minerals. So I'm not like dogmatic about salt, and I felt like it's been quite beneficial. And then yeah, that's the rest of things. Fat's pretty low. Usually my omega 3 to 6 ratio is like 1 to 1, but on this particular day, it was actually a bit higher in omega 3, which is actually, I'd say, a good thing. Yeah, because omega 3 is the anti-inflammatory, and then omega 6 is like pro-inflammatory. And obviously you need both in the body, but most people are far too high in omega 6, especially with like seed oils and things like that. And yeah, protein actually a lot higher than normal for me. Most days it's probably around 40 grams of protein, protein, protein. But yeah, because of the peas and things like that, it was a bit higher than normal. Usually I'll incorporate some form of mango or other fruits that are in season and nice. Mangoes are usually pretty nice, but the past few days I haven't actually been able to get good quality ones. So that's why you won't see it in this particular video. But another example of a day is just I swapped out. I didn't have an extra snack because I wasn't quite as active. I just did a workout and no football. But I actually had plantains for dinner. I actually put them with the spinach, kind of like on top of the salad. And I think I also had a squeeze of lemon, but this is just a rough estimate of the kind of things I eat. And yeah, I was just experimenting with plantain or plantain. I'm not sure how you say it. But I found it in like a local, like Middle Eastern shop that's opened up. So yeah, thought I'd try that. And that's more like a typical day in terms of a bit lower protein. And yeah, I have plenty of energy. Feel like I'm thriving on the lifestyle, I'd say. Obviously, not, as I've said in the past, not 100% where I want to be in terms of like physical appearance and things like that. But I think those things will iron out over time. And as I get access to better quality fruit, I think that will sort itself out. But yeah, that's just another typical day. Some days I won't have the boiled or baked like plantain or plantain, however you say it, or I won't have the peas. I might just have like a couple of mangoes instead, or whatever else I have in terms of fruit. But yeah, obviously fully raw is my preferred day, but some days I might have a little bit of cooked food just to kind of hit that 3,000 calorie mark roughly. Now, I'm not rigid with it, but at the same time, I don't really want to go to bed hungry with my particular goals. Like, I don't want to be stuffed, but at the same time, I don't want to be feeling like starving because then I'm probably maintaining or losing a bit of weight, which I don't really need to do at my current weight. I'm still pretty light. So, yeah, hope this was enjoyable. Hope it was insightful. Obviously, I'm still learning myself and trying out different things as I learn and evolve. But yeah, hope it's given you something to think about. And just, yeah, always consider your goal. That's my main message. Like, obviously, health, everyone wants to be healthy, but I think it's perfectly okay to have goals in terms of wanting to build muscle or wanting to get fit for a particular event. And I think it's important to use the diet and lifestyle as an actual tool because it's often fixated on as the goal. We often think like the goal is to stay fully raw, but I don't fully agree with that. I'd say the goal is bigger than just the diet. The goal might be other things in life, and then the diet is just used as a tool. But anyway, enough of me waffling on. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you want to meet a like-minded tribe of people, kind of similar to myself, probably similar to you, then if you click the first link in the description, my dog's barking again. If you click the first link in the description, you can join my free school community and interact with me a bit more there. And also there's some free resources, so that's a bonus. But anyway, peace and love.